Hello and welcome to Wrestleopinionated. This is our weekly show all about the shows of AEW. We are your hosts. I am Morg. This is
5 hours of sleep, Matt Strange, and this is
11 hours of sleep, Muir.
you lucky. So I'd just like to say, Strange, I too am on about 4 to 5 hours of sleep.
Oh, it was great.
Oh, awesome. Oh, fuck
I just
you.
slept in. I just came in. Oh, I could just have another 2 hours and just slept a bit longer.
After lockdown's over,
bold.
Strange, yeah. After lockdown's over, yeah. Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Reliving our council.
He won't go out his house. He can't get me. I'm staying.
Reliving our council childhoods.
Once, a few years back, I left my house at 1:30 a.m. to chase a 22-stone man with a cake round an estate with a cheese grater. Don't underestimate my spice. He had the cake, I had the cheese grater.
This just sounds like a chefing story.
Right.
We're not ready for the tales of chefing stories and awful things I've done there.
I don't think we can ever do that on this podcast.
No.
So look out for Morgan Strange's podcast about why you should never work in a kitchen with us.
Yes, 100%.
It's not just working in a kitchen with you. It's just working in a kitchen in general. Don't do it.
No, I'm exceptionally awful. If
You're essentially awful as a human being, let alone in a kitchen.
I'm good at pranks, and I like annoying people. Freezing people's whites is the absolute best thing. Hi, welcome to my chefing podcast.
So, you guys been up to anything exciting this week?
We built a theme park in a cannibal simulator.
Finished. We need more time.
It's got a hang gliding pool. It's got zip lines. I'm working on the log sled.
Got a nice church if you're into that sort of thing.
No, we've been fucking about, and in the eternal world of what do you do in lockdown? You play £7 indie Steam games. Indie shitter for life.
New expansion for Oxygen Not Included came out this week, so I've been enjoying that.
I've been playing some Total War because they updated more Skaven things, and I like Skaven.
And I haven't been playing Cyberpunk 2077 because my computer can't run it.
Oh, and you're angry about Johnny Silverhands.
Ish! We're not getting into that. We might lose listeners. Anyway, this might be the first time you've listened to our podcast. As so, you would need to know that we have a tier list, which is how we review our shows, how we give our scores for BTE, Dark, and the matches and the overall ranking for Dynamite. Mr. Strange, would you like to explain our tier list to the listeners?
I will do. It's a simple one this week. A little less funk on it due to the 5 hours sleep malarkey. You may have seen this tier list used on YouTube videos. Japanese computer games. I particularly noticed it in the original Resident Evil on the PlayStation. It works up through grades. I'll go through them now. D is our lowest ranking match. A D match has nothing you really care about. It's a squash. It's a filler. It's two people doing some mediocre shit. It's a transitional story match. You don't care about it. C is a good match. This is what we expect to be the average match to be. It's got enough story. It's got enough heart. It's got good wrestling in the ring. Sure, your eyes might not be on it 100%, but whose eyes are on anything 100% these days? Could tilt a little bit in either way, but, enough aspects of everything should be there that you are entertained, but your mind not blown. Moving up there from we've got a B. B rank match takes one of those little factors to exceptional, or both of them to just great. Your eyes are on, you care about the match, the story is relevant, wrestling is good, you don't get caught up on botches. B rank match above the average. Good to very good. A is probably what we expect to be the match of the night. Often it could be the match of the month. An A rank match has everything. The wrestling is great. The story is there and great. Obviously, it can tell a bit, but you want both of these. Can't have an A rank match without good story. And yeah, that's what we want. We just want a good, solid match that you tell your friends about. Great stuff all the way through. S rank match, Sugoi, the Japanese. Super, special, brilliant, the best match you get. The ones we talk about, the ones you send fucking gifts off to your friends. It's got story, it's got heart, it's got spots that blow your mind. It's remembered for ages, and that's our top rank. D shitty, B good. Sorry, but what did I go from D to B?
You
What
don't
is
see
wrong?
no more. C's gone.
Christ, boys, Christ. D shitty, C solid, B very good, A amazing, S the top of the tree. There's our tier list.
Excellent.
Fuck me, I don't know the alphabet anymore.
It's the sleep.
Hard.
Just blame it on the lack of sleep.
I don't blame you. The alphabet's hard.
So
It doesn't matter what order the alphabet's in.
so moving on. News. So first, the bad news. Looks like Penta is injured. Suffered an
Explain to them
injury
something later.
during training. Yeah, more on that later, or we're covering that later. I just hope he gets well soon.
Yeah.
Simple, and it's not serious.
I love him. He's one of my favourites. It's weird to see him injured in training, of all things, with some of the shit we've seen Penta do, to be honest.
Just do so much bollocks.
I put my back out standing up once.
Yeah,
and considering the amount of stuff I pick up and throw around at work and the weights of them, it's daft as it sounds. That's when you injure yourself.
Yep.
Mrs. injured herself doing nothing yesterday, so it happens.
The human body is extremely tough, yet extremely weak.
Ooh.
Awful.
Muir, our very own profound.
I've never been profound. Shut up.
In other news, so we weren't sure where to put this. So we've decided we'll put it in the news. An AEW wrestler appeared on a different show this week.
Oh my god.
Kenny Omega appearing on Impact.
I was going to go with Danny Limelight on NJPW Strong, but
so I watched Impact.
I watched the Kenny Omega sections of Impact.
I also watched the Kenny Omega bits of Impact.
Yeah, I watched the whole thing. It was alright.
How was it? It was alright. My favourite rank.
It was
slightly below a C.
To be fair, Rosemary and Taya Valkyrie was my match of the night, but I think that's just because I may have just fallen in love with Rosemary. She is so cool.
There's a reason Impact is referred to as Simpact, mate. It's the women's division is great, and there's a little something for everybody there, if you know what I mean.
No, this is just purely because it's like I really like that gimmick. She does the horror character almost as good as somebody else does the horror character, if not as good, to be fair, and if not better. But I'm biased towards my girl, who we'll talk about later.
Yeah. Well, I suggested the two of them together last week, if you recall, because Rosemary does the whole teleporting ghost shit, and she's very popular.
Yeah.
We can only gain from Impact's women's division.
Yes.
Only gain
from that,
So there was two segments. There was obviously the Kenny segment. There was another one which was an advert for AEW slapped right in the middle. I thought the heel advert was brilliant. I thought Tony Khan, for someone who doesn't push himself forward too much, considering
as long as he doesn't Vince Russo it and start coming out every week. I'm happy to see him.
I thought this was exactly the way to do it, and I thought he was a great heel. He was really good.
That's fine. He threatened to buy Impact and all this bollocks on it.
I was talking about how they had the greatest tag team. I definitely recommend go and look this up. You can watch the whole of Impact on YouTube, and I definitely recommend watching this. This was just some great heel work. I really enjoyed it.
As long as he gets a match in hockey pads, I'm happy.
Fuck off!
He does look a bit like Vince Russo, doesn't he?
Look, you can shit on Russo all you want. We all hated his story decisions, but that man made dimes. They rained from the sky around him.
To be fair, they made dimes after they went through Vince McMahon as a filter.
As long as he had someone controlling him, he's probably one of the best guys for trash TV.
He's like Toriyama.
Yes, mate. He is the Toriyama of wrestling. As long as he has someone controlling him, he is big. He is big yen.
Just so you know, Morg, Toriyama's the guy who writes Dragon Ball, who writes very good series when he has a fucking director who stands there and goes, "No, Akira, no." But when he's left to his own devices, it's just bollocks, and he just sails through the air. Dragon Ball is just the wrestling of anime.
So, what did you guys think of the Kenny promo?
I'm going to be the grumpy one here. Whereas it was solid, and I appreciated the explaining of the history of Callis and Omega. I think if I was a long-standing Impact LOL TNA fan, I'd have been a bit pissed off. I don't know, it just seemed like a weirdly long section about not their company, and it didn't really lead into any story with Impact other than, I'm here and I may be able to beat your champion. I mean, this is just me. If I was an Impact fan, it would have annoyed me. As a Kenny AEW fan, fine. If I was a Universal Wrestling fan, fine. But a lot of people do have their promotions. It would be like Nick Aldis having a 7-minute promo on AEW about how good he is, but not actually challenging anyone. That's kind of how I felt.
Or like Roman Reigns just turning up on AEW going, yeah, look at me. You know?
I went with Aldis because obviously WWE is its own mega entity of doom.
Fair point.
So, to counterpoint that, and I've been thinking about this since yesterday because I know Ruth had a thing about this. So, yes, to the general mainstream people, to the WWE fans, and I don't mean that disrespectfully because there are a lot of WWE fans who watch everything. They are wrestling fans. The WWE only watch WWE. So if you watch Impact and you probably know who Kenny is. Secondly, Kenny is the number one guy in the second biggest Western wrestling company. So this guy turning up is huge. They are going to know who he is if you watch Impact. He is the second biggest he is the main guy in the second biggest company, and he has just turned up on Impact. That draws eyes to Impact. I wouldn't normally watch Impact, and I watched it, and I'm now considering keeping an eye on it because it's on YouTube, and I'm probably going to watch the women's division. So they've at least dragged me in they've dragged me in.
I'm with you.
I appreciate we do this. Also, it's Kenny Omega. If Roman Reigns turned up on AEW, it would break the internet. It would break, and you'd be pissed off because they'd bring him in as a heel. Kenny was being a dickhead heel.
I'd be pissed off because he wouldn't be tied in. Yeah, go on, Muir.
I would have it as almost like an NWA champion coming to that particular area. You know, that territory back in the day. So it'd be like, oh, look, Omega's come here to cause issues to this, promotion because he's the NWA champion. And then their champion has to fight him off, sort of thing, classical.
Realistically, to wax slightly aside, Tony Khan really should just buy the NWA off Billy Coogan because the NWA is what you used to have to be part of the Territories Wrestling.
Yes.
All wrestling promotions were part of the NWA. Vince just sort of fucking killed that. And now the NWA is laughable. Yeah. If he bought that, it actually would add a credence to this kind of thing. Like I am all up for I am all up for the expanded universe of wrestling and letting wrestlers have their gimmicks across Impact, AEW, Ring of Honor, and JP. Yeah. Hopefully, I would fucking love
AAA.
that. Yeah, and AAA, of course. Sorry. I think it needed more of a tie-in to make it relevant to hardcore, to Impact fans. I don't even need to say hardcore Impact fans. There's been Impact fans since it was TNA. People have stuck through it. A lot of people really love it for the women's division. I just think it needed more of a tie-in than he was raised by our by our color commentator. That's just me. I'm jaded story man.
With our knowledge of how good Tony Khan and AEW are now at long-term storytelling, and we've got to give them credit for this. I think it's also the first step. I want to see what happens next week, and I need to actually keep an eye on Impact next week. So again, it's done its job in that I feel like I've got to watch Impact because I want to see what happens next.
The thing is, if it was WWE, I know we shouldn't always compare it to them, I'd laugh at it and go, this isn't going to go fucking anywhere, But seeing as it's actually people that care about the wrestling industry, I would like to give them the time to see where it goes.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna give it a chance. Yeah. Like, look how much I hated Dark Order at the start, and how much I love them now.
We fucking hated Hangman.
Who's our favourite? Who's your favourite babyface, boys?
Hangman.
Hangman.
Yeah.
Silver.
And
MJF.
Silver. MJF. Yes.
That is insulting to your favourite MJF.
There it is. Yeah.
That is a man who works that hard to be that good a heel. Right, so yeah,
Wow.
that's our thoughts on Kenny on Impact. Moving on, Mr. Strange. Social media of the week. Anyone be doing anything interesting, unoffensive?
I've got two things to mention realistically. Bit of a quiet week on the old social media malarkey, but I've got a couple of things to cover up. Shanna is back, so she's well worth a follow. She's at Shanna, it's literally her name, then NJII. So Shananji. I recommend being a fan of her, supporting her, maybe telling her she needs a cool Dragon Ball Z shirt design or something. No reason at all. And a little bit of disappointment on the side. Kenny's big announcement came out. I got a run of emails going on about that site we signed on for with the countdown.
God, yeah.
It's because he's selling pre-workout powder.
Oh.
It's Kenny Creatine, basically.
Wow.
And I'm like a workout Jimmy man. I mean, I've been lazy in Corona year because all enthusiasm has been sucked out of the world.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I kind of expected the site with the countdown and the cool things and the colours and Kenny's the clean now to be more than you can buy my energy drink, if I'm honest. But support Shanna and tell her she's great. Maybe she should play Phasmophobia. Move on.
Maybe more on that in the future. So moving on from that, it's that time of the week where we review the shows of AEW. We kick off as ever each week with BTE or Being the Elite. Mr. Muir, this is your ball.
Okay, right. So starts off with BTE.
You got this week's.
I do have this week's. I checked twice before I opened my page.
Just checking.
For no reason. So it starts off with Uno starting a game of Uno.
Oh, it was the fucking belt.
It was for the belt, yeah. It was for the primary contender for the belt. Uno had a really cool Justin like Metallica t-shirt on, which I really liked. Fucking Chuck shouting, "I don't want Chuck to win." It made me laugh. Eddie just there watching made me laugh. The captain did great in it. I really enjoyed the captain.
Eddie damaged his character for me there because he was enjoying that too much. We saw too much of the real.
Wait till you ever meet him. He's so lovely.
Yeah, we saw the real guy. Like, no, keep him doing promos. We can get away with that. Don't show him being happy, man, and being nice.
It's not allowed to be happy.
I love how much the best friends love the captain. It brings me great joy.
You better have saluted when you said his name.
Of course I did. The Captain Sean Dean.
So yeah, and then we went on to the comments of when Nick is in the bin. When the bug is just going on about all his fucking smart comments when he's just in this bin. Made me laugh.
Whereas I say Matt is the better book, like, because I think his wrestling style appeals to me more. I find he's better on like real world on kayfabe promos, and we share a name. Nick is so good at just fucking dull satire. He's just wonderful.
Yeah, I wonder if he's behind a lot of the. Whereas obviously they're both into it. I wonder if he's the one more behind their parody satire, taking the piss
Wouldn't
out of
surprise
whether
me.
that's very much his thing, because he is very good at it.
I wish that he had a push as merch freak. I miss.
It's gonna
merch
happen.
freak.
They've teased it too much.
Then we had a boring segment, as far as I'm concerned, about Alex Marvez in the Dark Order.
It wasn't great.
I didn't like that bit. Then we move on to the best part of the night, which is obviously the Dark Order Hangman bit, where where the fucking Dark Order are laying traps of whiskey down to lure fucking Hangman in.
Oh, the Dark Orgy. Hangman put up a tweet after Kurt said, "I'm not joining the Dark Orgy," so that made me laugh.
Right. What are you, a nerd? Well, do you do coke? Was one of my favourite lines of this that Ten just came out with. I also found it quite endearing where the drinks were being handed out in it, and then Ted instantly went to go pass his first drink to his missus, and they went, "Oh no, I'm in character," then passed it to Stu. I thought that was quite adorable.
Stu just chatting Jack Daniels from the bottle. Good luck.
Then we moved on to Kaz and Brandon, where Brandon was wearing Kaz's shirt. My favourite part of this was Kaz getting angry at him for using a promo code so he didn't get the full money for the shirt. That made me fucking pissed.
I love Kaz. I honestly think he's like some representation of my spirit that was born before me and is elsewhere in the world. He likes weird punk music, he likes drinking, and he's angry all the time. I'm on board.
Ooh,
he's a shard of you.
Weird punk music. See, I thought he's a massive metalhead.
Rock, punk, and basically everything alternative.
Right, yeah.
He's a DJ as well. He wrote their theme tune, which is why he's the only one who knows the words.
Then we had a Marco and Matt Hardy bit, which was just about their trousers being older than Marco. Whatever.
I knew arrogant Matt.
Yeah, this was more about the Matt Hardy character. Yeah. I didn't mind this. It's not going to rate a B, but it was certainly a C section. Oh, that was not intentional.
Then we had 5 doing body shots of 10. With
Anna's face in the background where
tried not to laugh.
Cracked.
Yeah. As the party continues.
The men are doing body shots of my incredibly buff boyfriend.
On her not on her podcast, on her AEW Restrict with her, she's always like, it's so hard to do those bits and sit there and try and be angry in the background.
Yes, I can imagine. That's nice to know, though, that she's got the sense of humour. That it's,
Yeah.
I think we did notice. In fact, we noticed her corpse this week.
Yeah, she did definitely corpse.
They corpsed Hangman as well, didn't they?
Yeah. Then we moved on to the battle of the podcast between Fuego and Brandon.
I actually enjoyed this. This
Fuego's grown so much on me.
He's the best luchador from Alabama.
Yes, mate.
Most dangerous tornado DDT.
Yeah.
He's gonna hit it at some point.
If he hits the tornado DDT, it's over.
I just want them to kick out on one, whoever he hits it on. Just
that'll be from Lance.
Yeah. So then we moved on to Matt Hardy with Private Party. That was basically just fucking negging both of them.
Yeah, I'm guessing we're getting a split apart so we can go with Sammy at some point.
Well,
That's my assumption.
Yeah.
But they can both turn into like shitty not quite tweeners. He's leaning more heel, but is still on a goodish side. And Sammy's having a lot of story possibility at the moment.
Then we had the Young Bucks and Kenny bit, which is, well, they didn't see the Kenny, but they were just, waiting for him to come out.
Story.
Yep. Then we had the Hangman finally arrives following the trail of drink to the Dark Order's party.
John Silver crying about him being so good at wrestling properly broke me.
You, Adam!
He's so good at wrestling!
Can I just say, Tony, we know you listen. Please let Hangman join the Dark Order. It's just going to be so amazing.
Please. Fucking Uno's smeared nose. I like the fact that Dick was continued from where his face paint normally goes as well. I want you. Yeah, properly made me laugh. That is. I've been in drunken situations like that, so I
also loved Uno doing the shitty, sweaty Simpsons hand joke that he did, which is from the Homer and Mindy episode where he writes out what he wants to say on his hand, then can't read it because he's sweating too much. That made me piss.
Simpsons sage Nick Muir here.
Then it was Hammond. I want you so bad. Will you join my dark orgy?
That was the moment I think that Hangman corpsed, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he couldn't hold on.
Hey, could you?
And we know how good an actor Hangman is. It's credit to the Dark Order.
Yeah,
This was a great episode of BTE. It had some slow bits, but the main through fair story of Hangman and the Dark Order just
Trail
fucking...
of whiskey had me at the start.
Yeah.
And it just got better. God, I hope he joins them.
Go on then.
It's a must-watch for me.
What are we giving it score-wise?
I think it's got to be a B because there was a lot of dry stuff in there, but the highlights are fucking A's.
To be fair, I don't know, because I'm edging towards an A. I thought this was really good, and I really liked that end bit. I liked that cut off when we went to that serious bit. Well, what's happened with Kenny? Kenny's turned heel, man.
Yeah, that was actually really
and it was
good.
just, it was like, so this had everything
been
for me.
Teasing for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, all right, I'll give it an A. We've laughed all of our way through this.
I've struggled to say some of this because of how much it made me laugh.
You've got a valid point. Like, very rarely do we talk through a BTE and like just go, yeah, there was this boring bit, but then this happened.
Exactly.
We gave it one boring bit, and the one bit we gave that that I thought was about a C. I think that's, this was really good and very funny. Yeah, so that's our review of BTE. That's what we thought of BTE this week. Yeah, watch Being the Elite this week. It's well worth it, and you've got some good storyline bits that lead into other things. Moving on.
Matt Strange speeds through dark.
Matt Strange speeds through dark. 2 hours and 10 minutes or something like that this week.
2 hours, like 17.
This was proper The Abyss stared back, boys. I'm sorry.
By the way, this is a new thing I'm going to be saying every now and then. It was suggested to me by the missus during an episode of Dark, during the main episode, which we'll get to, where she just went, it's like staring into the void and the void stares back. And I was like, that's the best description for things that I can't be bothered to rant about anymore. The women's division and certain people we'll come to later. Yeah, this actually opened with Excalibur saying, welcome to another gargantuan episode of AEW Dark. And I just kind of went, oh, God, please no.
Properly sets me off like Pavlov's fucking dog when I hear him say that. It just destroys any momentum I have.
So, but here we go, boys. You know the rules. Stop me if you have anything to say.
This is going to be quick.
Go.
We open with Baron Bauer Black against Sonny Kiss. Was pretty solid, to be fair. Sonny's worked on a few of the cooler moves and transmissions and counters, which was pretty good otherwise, but I didn't care. Completely pointless match. From there, we roll into probably the third best match of the night. Cage versus Danny Limelight. Danny Limelight is really fucking good. He had some really cool counters. Him and Cage put on some fucking blessed counter indie bits because obviously Team Taz has to put over their opponent in that.
They're just too good. They're just too good at putting other people over. I love Team Taz.
This was a lovely cruiserweight versus bruiserweight match with just some cool combos. Bit short for my liking. Hopefully we see more of Danny, especially now I know he's been in NJP'd up. So that's in third. I don't give it a hard recommend though. Then Gracia versus Nyla Rose. There was a match. Then Vicky Guerrero said some things in the ring. Here's the first bit we have to actually sort of talk about.
Yep.
The Britt Baker bit.
Oh God, this killed me. This killed me, boys.
The Reba laugh has to stop.
It has to.
It's a gimmick.
I like Reba a lot. Well, Rebel. She's good.
Rebel. She's a good wrestler. She likes to play herself with sort of a sultriness at times in her gimmick, but the laugh just has to go.
It has to.
Then there was a couple of good jokes with Dustin, like him being 80 or whatever. But Dustin
her boyfriend.
Yeah, but Dustin did say my legacy's intact, and somebody doesn't remember the plane ride from hell, does he? Or Seven, or more on that later. And then Marco sang what I assume was an Ed Sheeran song.
Oh God, this killed me, boys.
No,
I skipped this.
Marco can sing. This is the one thing.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah, the only problem is I hate the kind of music he sings.
Yeah, I don't care. So I'm not going to say I enjoyed it, but Marco can sing, and I watched it because he's got a good voice, and it was enough to keep me watching the segment. But it's not something necessarily. I quite like the idea of her having a talent show bit, though. I will admit, I quite like the and. Here's something that one of the guys can do that you don't expect. Can we have some sillier ones next time, please?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. From there, we rolled into Solo versus 10, which was all right. 10's ripcord back to the back of the head slap needs to go, though. That's not a good
I wish that
finisher
he
for him.
kept the spin in his spine buster. I don't like a spine buster that doesn't have a slight turn in it. I think
Hobbs is doing that.
I guess, yeah, he is, isn't he? So he's got to stop it. Yeah. Good point. Well made.
The blessed indie matchup next. Avalon versus Valley. Commentary fucking putting Avalon over is so great. How they're talking about him being sculpted and gorgeous.
I love it. I love this gimmick so much. It makes me happy.
Yeah, this was just fucking solid indieing. It wasn't as good as last week's solid Indian. Indian. But I'm loving the new Peter Avalon, and I think whereas it's nice to see him and Cutler rising up and getting wins, I find Avalon more entertaining. And whatever Pretty Peter's pageant provocation is going to be, I can't wait. I hope he loses it to Ricky Starks, though.
I hope he just loses the first match of it, because that'd be hilarious.
Surprise me. Yeah. Then we had the 6-man tag. The Guns arriving in the Taz taxi.
Not as good as their last week's Taz joke. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's pretty solid. Wasn't it was a fine match. I quite like Billy telling the kids don't play around too much mid-match. Yeah. And Ryzen and Austin are really good together. Like, they're really good at fighting each other. I'd like to see more of that.
Ryzen's great, though.
There we rolled into our first women's match. Danny Jordan versus Velvet. Danny knows she's a cake. She made a joke about it.
I was so happy.
This could have actually done with longer. It was pretty good, to be fair. And the final strikes dodging sequence between the two of them was actually really good. Like, give these two more time and put them together more.
I'm starting to like Danny Jordan. She's got a gimmick.
Yeah, she has.
Which like... She's like,
I was going to say, isn't she like 16 or something? She's
not Joshi.
I like her a lot more now. I know the Burn book is a thing from like Mean Girls and not a Nazi reference.
Yes.
Yes. Why does she want to burn books? Oh, it's good.
Fahrenheit 451 reference. Just coming out burning books.
I'm going to need a moment for this because this is my longest set of notes on the show. It's Falco and Mike Magnum versus Jurassic Express. A double Marco day.
The best days.
Literally, I have to build up to this. I've written mini rant halfway down my notes because I started losing my shit. I hate Strong Marco, and Strong Marco just fucking deteriorates the value of the team. And the problem is, it's not just that it's Strong Marco, because he used to be this like scruffy underdog with a bit of a mouth. But now he's just arrogant.
Yeah.
Seriously, he's like Noodle Man John Cena. Luchasaurus means nothing because it doesn't matter if he can batter a person if fucking Marco can do whatever he wants to them. I've stopped caring. That Falco dude actually looked dimes. It took me a second to like get into him. But it's just... Jurassic Express have been really good otherwise. I have been complimenting Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy together. I've been saying they've shown diversity. But how can this little insufferable cunt who just wins... He taunts them, he gets in their faces, he acts like they're nothing, he beats them, and I just hated everything about this match. I loathed it. And I like a scruffy underdog character. You give me a fucking indestructible Mayu or a Spike Dudley or, you know, somebody who just...
It's because he just wins, mate. He's just John Cena, like you said.
He's just tiny John Cena. I could tell I was angry. I slipped the C word in that mid-rant, and normally I avoid that on here. It even says twat on my notes. He either needs to go off and be a heel with some people where he can be a bellend, or he needs to go back to being a bit cute, dumb, and funny. Because all we've seen him do is borderline sexually assault women, perv on women, beat people, and be a twat. I don't know about you, but that isn't 4 traits I see in a face very often. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, no, with you.
Sorry.
Right.
No rant of the week this week. Get it in midway. Brandon versus Fuego. Fine. if that you could tell they're a bit unfamiliar with each other. I don't think that was Fuego or Brandon's best match. It was all right.
It's all right.
It's all right.
It was all right.
It was all right. Then we move into Moore versus Evie. I'm glad Evie cares now. The match wasn't great, but I'm glad Evie cares. And I'm glad we're seeing a bit more of Skylar Moore because she's a bigger lass who could do a few more power moves. Otherwise, short and not great. Sadly, there's going to be a run of this now. Swole versus Snow. I just don't think these two were too smooth or great together. I don't think they're very familiar with each other. And I'm a really big fan of Lindsay Snow on look alone. She appeals to everything I was in the early 2000s.
Raptor saw her and said she reminded Raptor of somebody.
Is it the dreadlocks and things?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's tattoos, dreadlocks, a bit of a rocky, punky look. I know my niche. The man who's been growing a mohawk all year. Bit of a weird end where Swole seemed to be being an asshole to Snow when she went into the face. I don't know if maybe Snow would hurt her or something during the match, but it was a weird end for me. And that
I thought that. I was a bit confused.
Yeah, just a bit strange. Otherwise, match was meh. Then we had Chun. I don't want to mispronounce a Chinese man's name. Chun and VSK versus TH2. Yeah, it was to get TH2's numbers up before the match. Fisher Price, not Fisher Price, and Diamante. I put this down. I actually quite enjoyed this, but I quite like Diamante as like tiny little Latina juggernaut. I don't know. Something about her amuses me.
Yeah, she's great. She's good fun.
Otherwise, the match was actually all right. But it wasn't anything mind-blowing, but it was a filler. Then we had the TH2 promo that I didn't even make notes on, so that was good. And then we moved on to Shanna versus the Jobber. She was a big lass. We need some big lasses to do some big power moves. I think there was a bit of ring rust in this, maybe, and a little bit of unfamiliarity with the opponents. But I'm glad Shanna's back. To be honest, you said you had comments on this one, Morg.
Shanna looked good. Her opponent she did that thing where she bent over and then she was like right in the middle of the ring, and Shanna's not sort of Kylie King level, so then Shanna had to run across the ring and then run back and then do the move, and it just looked like the girl was like, I'm bending over to wait for you to do the move. Yeah, I'm not injured, I'm just bending over so you can do a move. I
think the issue is that she's just that big. And I don't think many women are used to wrestling people that size, and it's just a bit of an issue. But
yeah, they all need to train with Nyla more.
Yeah, and also get some familiarity with each other. As they're rotating a lot of indie people, you need to get that familiarity with your opponents,
but I think
with that level of size difference.
Think the girls like Shanna, of her build, speed, etc.
You've got to think that Shanna was in Stardom for a while, so she ain't used to big people.
Yeah.
Let's be honest here.
Yeah,
boys.
they need to be going and practicing with Nyla and having training with Nyla. I think because we know Nyla's really good at playing a monster heel now.
Yeah,
and she's safe. I don't believe she's injured anyone. She's not a Nia Jax.
Not since the early days. Where she was more inexperienced. It happens. But yeah, otherwise, I'm looking forward to more of Shanna, and I'm glad she's back.
Oh God, yes.
And right, this is where I drew a line across my notes, and it says start here. This is where you should begin watching Dark from, in my opinion. Note this is 2 matches. 2.
Bless you, aren't they?
We had fucking Cruz and Nakazawa versus the Acclaimed. And
this was the match of the night.
When Nakazawa broke the commentary desk by hiding the oil in the...
Yeah, just everything about it. Cruz is great.
I think I prefer Cruz than Serpentico. I really do. I wish it was Cruz more.
I think you're supposed to, though, in a way.
Yeah.
Max Caster rapping about the fact he should be wearing a mask was a really good little in-joke. Taz just fucking loves Nakazawa so much.
If you can find anything in your life, find someone that loves you as much as Taz loves Nakazawa.
You stole the words out of my mouth there.
Yeah. And as I said, you weren't that convinced by them last week, Morg. I hope they're growing on you. I fucking love the Acclaim. They've got that good wrestling style. Bowens is immense. He's just really good.
2000's called. They want the gimmick back.
We've got a guy playing a cowboy gimmick in 2020 in this.
And at least Caster can actually sort of rap.
Yeah.
Like, he's not great. I love it. I love them as like an indie light comedy shitlording team. Cruz and Nakazawa were great together, and I often get sick of Nakazawa matches. Just a wonderful blast indie match.
It was so good.
Yeah. Just everybody's on board with me with this one then.
Yeah,
Wicked.
It
was good. It was good, yeah.
And then Colton Reynolds versus the Varsity Blondes. I really enjoyed this. Colt was back on form with a bunch of different moves. He's obviously been doing teamwork stuff with pretty much everybody in the Dark Order because him and Reynolds had some great stuff. Griff's hot tag was immense, like really on form. It looked fucking solid.
Griff's got a future. That boy has one hell of a future.
I think both of them do.
Yes. Yes.
Colt ripcording to Reynolds' spin punch was actually a really cool move. I really like that as a tag move. And it was a nice win for the boys. These last two matches really sort of brought me back around to enjoying wrestling again.
And I think you can tell that they were good matches because you just watched all the rest of it that you hadn't enjoyed, and you ended up on a high note with them. So I think that they're probably even better than you think they are, if that makes sense.
Good point.
If you go and just watch those matches as our recommendations, we're probably underselling them. If you watch
one
them
is a better wrestling match, one is a better indie match. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, watch the last two on Dark. It was great overall. Like, I'd give the show a. Technically, it's a C, but I'd give it a D, ending with some Bs.
I think it's a C. Nothing was terrible. It just suffers from being long dark, which we all
unnecessary.
Yeah,
I think that once they split this into two, the developmental matches they're just making for people to get experience in front of the camera, and an actual other show, I think it'll be great. I think the issue now is that it's two things at once, and that's what's causing the issue.
I had a minor revelation in a way. The problem is what we are seeing is basically house show dark matches. We're still seeing dark matches. We're seeing house show dark matches, which generally have a jobber and the big star is going to win because that's what's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
And that's why it grates on us. I think for people just watching dipping in and out, they're probably enjoying some great wrestling. And it's giving these indie guys a paycheck.
Yeah.
That's the important thing during a time when they can't get a paycheck because they can't be doing the house shows because they're just not happening.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
But it's still a C. Yeah, it's still a C. Yeah. It's still too long. So moving on from that, we move on to Dynamite this week. So that's mine, and we open up with JR Schiavone and Excalibur on commentary. Young Bucks did a quick backstage promo. Is there anything you want to comment on it? It's all right.
It's all right.
Yeah.
I'm just going to clarify now that it's all right is a new ranking thing. I'm just making it a ranking thing, and from what I can tell, it's sort of a low medium C. Is that it's all right?
Yeah.
It's not like an enthusiastic high C, and it's definitely not what my new phrase of the void stares.
Yeah, it doesn't have an L in it. That's the important thing. It's all right.
Yeah, it's all right. Carry on, sorry, Morg.
So then we had Young Bucks versus TH2. Bucks win with the BTE trigger. What do you think of the match? What score did you guys give it?
I think I'm going to be the only person who was even lightly down on this, to be honest. I don't know if I was just in a bad mood with not watching wrestling, because for me, this was solid, don't get me wrong, but it was just a bit too much of a hectic fucking spot fest for me. And I know that's what the boys are known for, and I know that we do love a good spot fest every now and then. So maybe it was me at the time. It was fine, but it didn't amaze me. I still love a lot of the moves they do. Fucking Jack and Angelico's 450 fucking spin in the air is amazing. And Angelico's been buffing up as well. He's looking really good under there. I don't know, it just didn't blow my mind. I did, after Nick was telling me how great it was from his opinion stuff, rounded up to a B. But for me, it felt like a C. But I don't know if that was just me being grumpy old man who likes punching.
You're a grumpy man that likes punching, but this was fucking great. Right. First of all, I'd like to call out to State Farm, our sponsors. Gotta call out State Farm, because that's all they ever fucking do on commentary. God, it's nice to have the Bucks as champs. I've got to reiterate this because it means we get a good match every show from them instead of having that FTR slow, boring fucking match. The Spot Fest was great fun. This is what you need for TV shows. I think this is what you need to get people hooked into TV. If you want to get people excited to watch wrestling, this is the sort of thing. I like that they had actually piped in the noise for the crowd. They definitely sweetened it quite a lot because there was nobody in that stand and it was nice and loud and it felt like there was actually a crowd there. Oh, their Doomsday device was fucking great. It was nice to see a good Doomsday device after seeing such a shit one last week as well.
I do always pop for a Doomsday device, I'll give you that.
I enjoyed that. I really loved the more bang for your buck counter by Jack, where he ran up the leg of the fucking ref and then did a hurricanrana. That was beautiful.
Jack Evans is so underused for how good he is.
Yes, he is. He should have been.
He's possibly the best indie spinny person they've got.
And it's criminal how he hasn't been bigger in his life. It's actually criminal. He's so good. Yeah, this match was great and I gave it an A. I enjoyed it so much. I really think that they shouldn't use Risky Business or the BTE trigger as their finisher. It should just be more bang for your buck. It's the best finisher they've got, and it's so good, and it's named appropriately.
I like the BTE trigger. Would you like the bad news?
What?
The bad news is, sorry, Strange, I gave it an A. This match was fucking brilliant. It started off a bit slow, and I was a bit concerned at the beginning because I was like, ooh. And I went, hang on, I trust these two teams. And yes, it went from, it's a bit slow, up a couple of little high spots to wow, Spot Fest. I loved the storytelling through the match. I honestly didn't know who was going to win because TH2 were getting a title shot, and I think the Bucks could have eaten a cheap win. And there was enough cheap moves by TH2 to keep me guessing as well. So it wasn't like a case of, well, they can't necessarily lose clean, because I'm not a fan of your champions losing all the time on TV for other people to get a shot. But I don't mind if you do it with a cheap heel. When your champions are faces and the heels get a cheap win, I always forgive that, because it doesn't damage either team, because the sneaky bastard heels don't get damaged because they're supposed to be cheating sneaky bastard heels, and the champs don't, the baby faces don't, because they just got caught out, but they mustn't be outsmarted. Yeah, I really enjoyed this match. And then it was just...
I might go back and rewatch it. Maybe I was a bit too grumpy. You never know. We all have bad days.
I really enjoyed this.
I'm a brawly man, so...
Yes. Moving on from that, MJF promo. Standard MJF-ing.
Yeah. It was good MJF-ing. We've had a lot of MJF whining on for a bit at times, and this was just some good classic MJF-ing. So
yeah, so just in case you are new to the show and you don't know, so there are 4 wrestlers who we have what we just call it. If they're solid, it means that the promo was just a B. We don't rank it. It was, and we expect a B from these guys, and it's Jon Moxley, Chris Jericho, MJF, and Cody. If ever we say it's solid X, just means it was a B. It's a standard B.
Boxing, MJFing, Jerichoing, Codying.
Yeah. Moving on from that, Darby Allin video promo.
I actually like this, and I've been very critical of his Guinness adverts and stuff at times.
It's a student film now. This wasn't Guinness advert. This is student film.
It's staring! But that is written across my notes a lot in this.
I thought that was good. I liked that as the payoff. And it was a Darby Allin promo. They did that bit, and it was a Darby Allin video promo that made me smile. And he doesn't normally have little bits that are, and he still kept it down to the dark, spooky emo kid.
But he's got to do promos and shit now he's the champion. But coming out and just speaking to the mic and stuff just wouldn't work with him. Not with what he's set up. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. And I won't say I dislike. I do like Darby, but I've never been like the biggest one for his artsy stuff. But I think he's rolled it quite well with his new champion position. I'm down with it. Didn't rank it though,
Mr. Muir.
The only problem I have now, though, is Talking Shopomania has ruined Sting for me. So anytime I see Sting, I just go, it's Sting!
I just keep sending the picture to anyone. I'm watching the show. Oh, this just happened. There you go. There's the picture.
So,
oh, fucking Stang.
Like, nothing against these boys. This was great. I really enjoyed this. But, yeah. I think it was a high B.
Yeah, I'm willing to go with a B. I think that's good.
I thought it was good. Yeah, I moving on from that, it was the night of the promos, wasn't it?
It was.
So I've got this written down as Cody and Sting promo. What did you guys think of this promo? I have a different point of view on it, which I'll put at the end. So I'll let you guys discuss it first.
I didn't take this so much as a promo as just for the story building section. Like Arn leaving was cool. I enjoyed that. I loved how much Tony loved Sting and hugging him and such like. Face Sting, obviously, then that's what we're getting. And Sting seemed so happy to just be out there. Like
heel Sting is a fucking stupid idea. I'll just quickly throw that in.
Yeah, fair. And I enjoyed how he sort of threw. He didn't throw shade at Cody, but Cody took it as shade. You could see the heel underlying. Where's this going to go? That darkness we've always seen in Cody. Sting looking up at Darby, doing the thing that Sting used to do, hoping one day he can climb up there and paint the other side of his face. No, I really enjoyed it.
Paint all of his face, please. That's the BTE section we need, is Sting teaching Darby how to paint his fucking face.
I would kill for Sting on BTE. I think that would be brilliant.
He'd be
so out of his depth.
He'll do it. He's from the 80s.
He'll do it.
Sting.
Yeah,
I enjoyed this. I think it's got a nice basis for some story to come through.
That's really good. The Raptor really liked it, and I really enjoyed it. The ending where Sting, the Raptor, he hasn't told us anything, but she didn't seem to care.
Yeah. Cody never gets to say what he came to the ring to say.
I think that was really good. Sting did not explain anything. He did not tell us why he was here, even though it was supposed to be him telling us why he was here. He told us nothing, but did it in such a great way, with such a brilliant babyface opening.
He stopped Cody saying what Cody wanted to say, and that always happens.
Poor Cody.
Sting's here. I can't wait to tell you. No, Cody. I want to talk about him. Previously on this show, I'm out in the ring to say this. Oh no, a super henchwoman.
Not allowed to talk anymore.
No wonder he's turning heel. I didn't rank this. Should we rank this? It was like a really cool story building section.
I think it's another B.
More.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Because it was so clever and didn't actually tell us anything, but wasn't a case of we're going at the end of it going, oh, that didn't tell us anything. We're at the end of it going, ooh, that, do you know what I mean? There's a very much different attitude in our minds towards it. I think it deserves a ranking, and I think it does deserve a B. I think it's one of those ones that we reserve the right to downgrade it if they don't do fucking anything with it. But this is AEW, and they will. I trust them.
It's a gothic wrestler talking to a gothic-themed punk character, and you are a goth and I am a punk. I will accept this B and shake your hand across the internet with it.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Are you happy with that, Mr. Muir?
Fuck you guys.
Doesn't matter, you're outvoted, there's two Bs.
It's a C. No, it was a B. It was a solid B, jokes aside.
So moving on from that, we had the Team Taz promo. A lot of promos.
The best comment I've got from this is from the missus, who said it was good that Cage only said 2 words. Who better? Because in all honesty,
that's all he needs.
He's too cuddly and lovely. His promo game is not strong. He's that friendly guy at the gym who offers you offers you advice with weights and steroids.
Yes, exactly.
There is a reason they have Taz, because Taz is a great promo. That's why, and Taz is an even better promo now than he used to be, I think.
Yeah, he is 100%. He works best as old hard man with his people. I still can't get over the fact his son's name is Hook, though.
Hook was there.
Hook looks about as threatening as Rey Mysterio's son as well, so that's a bit of a shame. But give him time; he's young. Yeah. Otherwise, solid. I didn't rank it. It was all right.
So moving on.
All right with the LNR in there.
Yeah. So moving on from that, Varsity Blondes versus FTR. FTR win with the Goodnight Express. What did you think?
No entrance for the Varsity Blondes. Shame. We know what that means.
Yeah.
Really solid and smooth. Obviously, everybody in that ring can go, even the younger boys. I really like Griff and Griff's double spear. But I am very often very critical of moves that hit two people because they look too set up or they do it too much. That double spear for him was actually quite cool. But I think now I'm at that point where I think the Varsity Blondes deserve better than to be just treated as like a jobber team. You agreeing?
I was agreeing because it's very frustrating after you watch Dark and they're being built up so much. They have these fucking promos and everything on Dark, and then suddenly they just come out here and just get fucking annihilated.
Otherwise, technically the match was a C. There was a little bit of story from FTR. The wrestling was obviously solid. As much as FTR can be boring in story, their ring game is just smooth as shit.
It is.
But yeah, it was a C from me. It was all right. I think I could have had a different moment in here, realistically, but I wasn't disappointed to see it. And I think FTR will be more entertaining to me now they're not the champs.
Anything to add, Mr. Muir?
Like he just said, I'm so glad that they're not the champs anymore. I like FTR; they're good enough, but they just add nothing. They're a good match, but they don't add any flair or any fun to wrestling for me. But I'm just a high spots loser, I guess.
As the old school, I enjoy an old school pure wrestling match. But remember, I hate old school tag matches because I find them dull as ditch water. I still quite like FTR, and I know that they are a team that you can put with nearly anyone, and they will have a C. And it's usually going to be a high C. To be fair, I gave it a C/B. Yeah, it was good.
It was a fine wrestling match in the middle of a show. What did you give it, Muir? You're the decider.
I've given it a C.
Yeah, well, yeah,
C it is.
Yeah. After that, Hangman backstage promo.
Oh, this was beautiful.
It was beautiful. I loved it.
How long have you guys been there?
7 minutes. Was it 7 days? I thought you said 7 minutes.
No, 7 days.
Oh, that's even funnier. I misheard him.
The little Kurt angle fucking cowboy hats ruined me. The tiny little buckaroo hats fucking ruined me.
It's getting an upgrade.
Like this even more. Yeah, I'm like ranking this up now as we talk about Hangman's little smile at the end. I don't think people think that. Some people suggest he was corpsing there. No. I don't think he was. I think that was an in-character smile that people were trying to be his friends.
Yeah, he was happy that someone was being nice to him. He's just so used to
I only gave this a B, but it feels like an A in my heart just because Hangman.
Now I've realised I misheard what they said because it was still funny at 7 minutes because it was such a precise number. But I did think now I've heard that it was 7 days. It's an A. That pushes it up.
It was fucking great.
I can't wait till the Dark Order possible split with face
thoughts from the Raptor is she wants to see Hangman become the new leader of the Dark Order, Brody Lee to come back, and she wants Brody versus Hangman, and I am down with that shit.
That'd be boss. That would be
a great
really
match,
cool. Yeah. And, well, as I was suggesting many moons ago,
War of the Lariats.
A split between the face Dark Order people who were, sick of being shit on or whatever, and the actual evil characters would give us a new dynamic and split up some of these younger wrestlers who are now getting into a more mainstream position.
I think the one problem is I think you need to keep Uno and Grayson. I don't want to split up Uno and Grayson, and I think
it won't split up.
Yeah, and I think you need to keep Uno with the faces.
Grayson will go with him out of loyalty. Grayson will not leave. They have been together for like 20 years.
The Raptors' idea was that Brody Lee would start recruiting some of the new younger guys that we're seeing not getting wins on Dark and form a new Dark Order, so you could have Hangman's bunch of babyface idiots.
Yeah.
And you can imagine, because Hangman will do the same exasperated stuff that Brody does, but whereas Brody does it in the angry way, Hangman it'll be really funny.
be apathetic.
I've never wanted a wrestler to have friends so much in my life from a
Why
story
can't he have
standpoint.
friends?
Like, as you were talking, I was like, I've watched wrestling for many years, and I have seen many plots and many storylines, but I have never seen the plot of I just want a man to have friends.
I just want him to be happy. He deserves to be happy.
So we're all happy. Are we ready to not be happy?
Yeah, sure.
Oh,
why
God.
not?
10 versus Dustin Rhodes with Lee Johnson. Dustin wins. D.
Oh God, this was awful. Why did they do this to poor
Ben got
Ted?
more moves than I expected, and he got a spot with Solo. And then one of my notes is, "Oh, he's already won," because I was like, "Oh, maybe he's going to give him a match," and then he won. I think the crowd was booing.
Yeah,
I think the crowd was booing. I am like pretty sure. Yeah, I gave it a D. This was bollocks. I hated it. The what comes afterwards is lightly amusing. Don't get me wrong, and brought it back a bit.
Wasn't worth it though, was it? Just burying 10 for no apparent reason.
The what comes after, I actually liked, and it's not going to get a rank because of the D that happened before it.
That's fair, and I agree.
Had the match before it been better,
but
Dustin should have lost for the fucking bit at the end to make sense for a start.
No. I mean, at least we got a 7 joke, the third most important row. Fucking Uno can lay the smack down.
Oh, yes. Yeah, this would have got a high. This would have been a graded promo from me, but yeah, it left such a bad taste in my mouth the match before.
You know how I've complained about Brandy and like attaching herself to popular things before?
Yeah.
Feels like Dustin's doing that. It's like Dustin's got angry. Like, we had that previous thing of, I'm going to boot up the Dark Order because I'm still mad about that plot line between the Dark Order and Cody that ended like 8 weeks ago.
The important thing about this one is it's a D, and unfortunately it is a D that will count in our rankings. More on that later. Because I foresee something. Following on from that, we had the Shaq and Brandy interview segment.
Imagine booking a section just so you can throw a drink on Shaquille O'Neal. I'd book that section.
Yeah.
I like heel Brandy. Brandy's really good on the mic. I don't really massively care about celebrities in wrestling. But it was alright. A passing through. I did not care.
Apart from Shaq's look at the camera like, oh shit,
that was
he got the water
that
thrown
was actually funny.
Because that was brilliant. He was like, oh shit.
Raptor was saying that his facial cell was beautiful. The only problem with Shaq, he's got such a lovely voice. In respect, it's so calming and relaxing, and
I can't see him being a heel. I can only see him just being in the corner of Jade, and that's all I want from him.
Yeah.
Don't get him involved in the ring. Maybe have him punch one guy out or something, a bit of interference, but don't have him in the ring.
Him and Cody can square off, that'll do.
Yeah. Perfect.
Following on from that is the Inner Circle meeting. Before we say anything else about the Inner Circle meeting, before you guys give your thoughts, I just want to say one thing, because I have it in big capital letters with lots of exclamation marks. Fuck me, Ortiz is an amazing fucking promo.
It was
great.
Really fucking good promo.
I love him. This was actually really good. This was really good fun. You can tell Sammy's been learning from Eddie Kingston though, when he went nah, and I was like, partner at the TV. I love the fact they all watch the show. That's fucking
always
wicked.
Makes me laugh when they say we watch the show.
Faced Ortiz, the diplomat, strong Sammying with a face turn imminent. They gave Wardlow mic time, and he's good.
God. Strap a belt on him and fire him to the moon. Come on.
This is not WWE. Also, Jake came across well on the mic as well. And Jake normally struggles a bit.
Yeah, no, and the fact they kept staring at each other instantly afterwards. I gave this a B. I thought this was good fun and a good lead into what things we're going to see. I enjoyed it.
This was great. I loved Ortiz telling him he's better than him, and he knows it. To Sammy, that was great. Proper wind up MJF. and that MJF was growing on him like a fungus, but he's growing on me. That is a beautiful line, and I want to use that in a conversation. That's how good that line is. Yeah, perfect. I really enjoyed this. It's high B from me.
Yeah. It was good.
Everybody loved this.
Yeah. It was good. Following on from that, FTR backstage promo. It's all right.
It's
solid. I didn't mind it. There was a car reference I didn't get. That's about my commentary.
Is this one where Tully was going up when they were going on about that Tully wasn't there and that's why they lost, or was that last week? I can't remember.
I think that was this week.
I
Either
think
way,
that
it
was
was
this
all right.
week.
Yeah. Well,
Rankless.
yeah.
So Eddie Kingston, Butcher and the Blade with Bunny versus Lucha Brothers and Lance. Sorry, I'm just going to refer to this properly. Lucha Brothers and Babyface Lance Archer with Jake.
Dare you?
Penta, he played Babyface in this and did it really fucking well.
Yeah.
But he didn't play Babyface. He was Lance.
They're just
in the Babyface corner. Yeah.
They're not baby faces, but they are better than the other people they're fighting.
Yeah. Blade pins Phoenix for the win. Penta was taken out at the beginning to cover the injury he had. I was waiting for Pac to come out the whole time.
Yeah,
after that,
it gave them great babyface heat. That did having to go 2-on-3. It was perfect.
Yeah. What did you guys think of the match? What score did you give it?
Clusterfuck punchy start, which I enjoyed. This was obviously more brawly. I love people being punched. It pleases me. Then I had a brief pause whilst I was trying to figure out what the fuck Jake was wearing. It looked like he was wearing my nan's curtains. And she's dead. Ruth was trying to figure out if he was wearing a pair of shorts over a onesie. It was a little bit distracting, but
the Raptor referred to it as Jake Roberts has come out cosplaying as her granny's sofa.
Did he have Everybody Dies written on him though at this point?
Probably. What is Lance written on the day? I'd like to say Lance is just fulfilling the old Jake the Snake role of I beat people up in a ambiguous way, and I love it. And being next to the Butcher really showed me how big Lance was.
Yes, mate. You don't remember how big Lance is.
I really liked their limb work against Lance. It was really solid.
They were proper cutting him down. It was great.
Yeah, I was worried about Penta because I didn't know if he was injured. But I didn't know he was injured before the match. I was like, has he been injured in it?
Fucking Lucha Brothers. I need to be signed off from being ill now. How are you going to do it? Oh, just throw me through a table, mate. But aren't you injured? Nah, throw me through a table.
Yeah, fine.
Mexican wrestling training.
Yes, mate.
Lance doing a roll-up was phenomenal. And he did it really... You don't normally comment on a roll-up, you know what I mean? But when a 7-foot dude just pulls one off on a guy half his height out of nowhere, I was like, what? Penta's rope jump spin on Butcher and Eddie at the same time was phenomenal. He did blat himself on the outside again, but you know, Phoenix in it.
I think that was Eddie's fault. I'm going to be honest here.
Penta. Yeah. A little bit quicker than I thought. I thought this could have had more time to it. I really enjoyed it though.
Probably shortened because they probably had to call the match on the spot rather than what they had planned with Penta being in the match.
Yeah, and Lance just going fucking berserk at the end made it for me. Just when Lance went, and I was like, oh god,
he went crazy. Yeah.
What score did you give it, guys?
I didn't rank it. I'm gonna wait for you boys to polish this before I put my thing on.
Because I was gonna do the same.
I'm giving it a B. Because I liked it because this is one of the things that actually transitioned them into properly the faces of this feud. Because there's nothing better than having your faces being the underdogs and having to try and fight back from being, one man down. Even though your faces are a crazy man that's like 7 foot that just kills people.
And
but here we are.
Mexicans.
Yes, and the evil one of the two evil Mexicans, yes.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a B as well. I think if we'd had a bit more length, it could have been an A. The fucking lancing at the end, though.
Okay, then it's a B because I wasn't. I've got one of those. It's not a C/B. It's a C or a B, and I wasn't sure. I was going to see what you guys, because a lot of the time when I listen to you guys talk about the matches, I really like I know you're going to hate me using this as the reference, but I'm going to because it's the best reference I can give. I like babyface Lance. I've been going on for ages about having a killer, a monster guy who's coming out of the right-hand side.
I still think as long as he's as long as he keeps being a bastard, as long as he's still an asshole.
As long as he's still Suzuki Gun.
Yeah. Thank you, Strange. That's the word. As long as he's still Suzuki Gun, I'm happy.
Yeah. You just start. I just want to see obnoxious heels getting thrown out, and I want the face-off with MJF. You see, I want MJF to because MJF's going to sell it so well. I want MJF to badmouth and then just Lance to come out because that is the best for that bullying, snot-nosed little heel character. We know that he's actually like a massive geek and whatever, but the character and getting that moment when Lance's music hits, I will mark like fuck when it's, you know what I mean, and this big destroyer turns up. And
I do like how he's got a countdown on his entrance now. I don't know if he's always had that, but
it's got back that terrible music that sounds like Bon Jovi, though.
Everybody dies.
The other thing
yes, mate.
It was something you just said about him being like Jake. Remember that Jake's role was always the second tier babyface, and he just happened to be a dark character babyface.
I mean,
I'll
give you face. I'm not giving you baby face. He bit a man with a king cobra.
No, that was when he had turned heel with Faker.
Okay.
That was when he had turned heel. But
as long as Lance does Lance things and is evil, he can beat up all the bad guys he wants.
But we also know that he's actually a really good guy in reality and very religious. So
Oh, he's like a super cuddly Christian man who tells people to live their dreams and stuff.
So
he's super good friends with Maki Ito, who's one of my favourite Joshis. That's always funny because she always wears her hair like his stupid beard. It always makes me laugh.
Okay. So moving on from that, which we all enjoyed, Red Velvet attack by stage, big woman's brawl.
Dub.
Possible setup for some women's story that isn't about the title. Isn't about the title.
About Brandy.
But it's about Brandy, ain't it?
Women's plot about Brandy. We've not seen any of those. No, wait. Every women's plot. It's about Brandy.
So moving on from that, So I've ranked this in. I have ranked this as a segment, not a match, and I know we've done this before.
Good call.
Because I think this is going to happen a lot with this person's matches. Abaddon versus Tesha Price. Abaddon wins. So my mark is squash but not unranked, and mainly it was actually a segment. Hikaru Shida comes down for the save with the I'm not afraid. Does the only thing you can do against a zombie girl and hits her in the head. Abaddon goes on the floor. Abaddon sit up is brilliant. That is
your proper taker sit up. Yeah.
I think it might actually be better.
I don't think it's better than the original Taker. I think that's too far, but
it's the way.
We've been seeing wrestle for the last decade.
This is the Raptor. This is the Raptor's point out. It's the way that she leaves her arms loose and everything, and she just sort of sits up. But we knew it was coming. She's the right character to do.
I love Shida's fucking
and
face.
Shida just sold out. Right, get the fuck out of here. So as a segment, as an Abaddon segment, for me, this was a B to A. As a match, this was a D squash. It's up to you guys to make a decision on what we're going to rank this as, or whether we're just going to leave it unranked and say it was a segment.
When Abaddon came out, the missus was chanting, "Please don't botch."
I really dislike that they don't do the effect on her when she comes out anymore. Because I think it looks a bit silly, her just crawling, but when they had the proper effect...
Grindhouse.
It looked great. I don't know why they've stopped doing that.
Yeah, no, and there was no entrance for Tesha Price.
Stop calling her Fisher Price.
You shouldn't have Price as a surname and have a first name that sounds like Fisher.
No, you got a point. But...
the pop when Abaddon came out was immense, though. It was great. And Abaddon strikes, which I criticised in the past, have got really good. He looked beastly. Obviously, the match was a D.
Yeah.
I want to throw down. It's a D squash. Because I do not want this lumped with the mess that was Dustin. this type of
God,
and a squash match is actually the correct. This is one of those cases where we've discussed before. You said you always hate squashes, and I don't mind them. This is one of the ones where I defend a squash. This is exactly the right squash.
A full moment.
But it's also the right squash because Abaddon should be squashing everybody who isn't Swole. Yeah, and I'm using Swole is my one because she's the big badass. She should be the one who isn't afraid. Shida can beat Abaddon, but she can beat her by being afraid all the way through the match. That's not an issue.
Because Joshis know how to roleplay fear.
Yeah, this is one of those cases where I defend a squash because it's actually the correct usage of a squash. Sorry, carry on.
Right, Shida brought a weapon, that was great. Shida's facial expressions were gold, but she is also an actress because she's a Joshi, and Joshis have to be actresses, models, everything else at the same time.
To do everything at once, yeah.
The Undertaker setup was fucking great, as you said. And then they just fucking scampered.
I love that they just fucking legged it. That was perfect. Just go. Just fucking get out of here.
What am I giving it? I don't know. I think I'm on the BA line as well. Possibly leaning more towards B than A than you.
It's a B,
the match.
I think B/A. Sorry, I should have made that more.
Yeah.
I said B to A, and I didn't mean to. I meant to say B/A. That was me being distracted by my C to B above it.
Got you.
As much as it was very fun, I think it's still a B.
Yeah.
I think if it keeps going on and keeps carrying on, I think it's going to become the best segment that they've had for women by far. I've really enjoyed it so far. And it's not been about Brandy, so it's helped a lot on that scale.
And in a year, they can bring an alien back to defeat the zombie.
Oh.
Finally.
In fact, now, Swole, you're fucked. I'm sorry. I don't care how big and badass you are. You're going to be scared of the zombie as well because I want, I want Statlander because she just doesn't understand the fear.
She's just confused
because she's an alien. No, that is such a better story, Muir. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. The rest of the women's division, you're all fucked. From now on, you've got to have acting lessons off Shida, and I don't want any of you doing anything to Abaddon other than winning by fluke and running away.
Credit Muir, that was my idea, Tony. Send the check
in
the
Tony.
Yeah. Chad, tell your son.
We know who listens.
So we're giving that one a B. Moving on from that, Inner Circle backstage promo. Jericho.
I've not even written that down.
I just got Jericho written down.
It's Jericho.
Lazy there. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
Jerichoing.
It's Jerichoing.
You're a good podcast that reviews the
refer you back to our comment from earlier. After that was the Kenny Omega promo. One thing I want to say about this: had I not watched Impact, this would have probably got a higher rank off me. This was this was a complete rehash of the Impact promo.
Exactly.
I'm guessing because they did it before it, because this would have obviously been taped at the same time as last week's episode. So I'm guessing that's when it happened. And then they were just sort of trying to predict what they were going to do on Impact.
Do you think this was recorded?
I think this was recorded.
No, this is live. No.
Was it live?
AEW is live. Dynamite is live. That's how it goes head to head with NXT.
I always thought they recorded two at once.
No, that was at the start of lockdown.
That was at the start of lockdown.
My mistake. Then
they have gone back to being live.
Fuck this section.
Yeah, fuck them.
Callis is really good on the mic. Fair play to him. And Kenny came out the heel door. Woo!
Yep.
I'm glad you noticed that because the Raptor noticed that. I was going to mention that.
I liked the welcome to the wrestling business because that made me laugh when he just says like they betrayed everybody. I love this nepotism spot. I love nepotism like storylines for heels. I think it's great.
It nearly got a D from me for one reason.
Why?
They mentioned the fucking Montreal screw job.
Oh yeah, fair.
Right, mentioning Shad.
It was a word.
Whichever one of you it is who listens to the podcast.
Stop trying to say it's Tony.
Whichever one of you it is that listens to the podcast, don't use the Montreal screw job. A lot of wrestling fans really fucking hate that getting used, and especially when you use it compared to an actual work. We're sick to death of hearing about it. Those of us that are Bret Hart fans, or were Bret Hart fans, and are slowly slipping away because we're sick to death of hearing about the Montreal screw job, and never compare your worked screw job to something
Red
that
screw
actually really fucked over somebody and made Vince McMahon a lot of money. So yeah, nearly got a D from me, but other than that, over to you guys to.
We are at least getting the evidence of the cleaner was never cool. Thank
Yep.
you. That's good. I think the only moment I can really comment on this is when Kenny said no one kicks out of the one-winged angel, and I was just like, Ibushi does.
Ibushi does. There's like,
In fact, he did it at like one.
yeah.
Hangman will.
Hangman will.
It really pisses me off, this like wrestling rewriting, because this is WWE crap. Don't rewrite it. Just say that the only person that's ever kicked out of it is Ibushi.
Kenny,
they can't.
This will be Kenny arrogant. If Ibushi
Yeah.
shows up, and there will be the fear. When
Yeah,
they get that NJPW and the perfect man arrives.
Okay. I'll
Ascending
be
from the
happy.
heavens.
The other problem
He
is.
will become a god, Strange. Listen to him.
Yeah. Yeah. It's it is supposed to be the most protected move in wrestling. Only one man is kicked out of it. You can get away with having the selective deafness, I think. If everybody and their brother had kicked out of it in New Japan, I think that would have been different. But it's widely recognized as the most protected move in wrestling. Nobody kicks out of it, and it's almost that. It's almost a joke. It's almost Chuck's joke of the nobody kicks out of the Falcon Arrow. Nobody kicks out. Yes, okay, one guy did, but yeah,
he's not a guy.
Yeah,
he's not a guy.
Yeah, he's a god.
Sent by Buddha.
It took the perfect man. Overall, then, what are we giving this?
I didn't really rank it. Like, it didn't blow my mind. I suppose because I'd seen the Impact one. It went on. It was solid, but I don't think I can realistically give it more than a C.
I think it's a C.
I love the invisible hand gimmick, though. I've got
the invisible hand gimmick stuff. It's a really cool gimmick. I'd just already seen it once in pretty much the same way. And
I have a feeling this might be one of those things that back in maybe a month or so we'll review back and go, you know what, that's probably worth a we won't remember, but that's worth a bump. We possibly should have given that a B if we're discussing this whole storyline. This storyline has been really clever.
It has so far, so I'm very excited for it.
So MJF with the Inner Circle versus Orange Cassidy with the Best Friends, the Diamond Ring match. MJF wins after a Miro interference. What do you think of the match? What score did you give it?
Yeah, this was pretty good. OC's suplex counter into stunner is still one of the best things I see in a match. I think that looks fucking great when he's taken vertical and just drops down. It was a bit one-sided towards MJF, obviously, but it was all heely, so I didn't mind. And then the Best Friends left, and I was like, where are they going? And they just went and got a team of...
My notes was Best Friends gone to get a Carter.
I would have fucking shit my pants. Dun-dun.
Just destroys the entire Inner Circle on his own.
He's got to come out to save Chucky T, his best friend at some point.
I know.
But they just got a load of mid-card faces, and that was wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Needed a bit of a pickup for a bit, but then I realised I was in the breaks, and it came to the Orange Cassidy standard sequence, which I'm not sick of yet. The start, roll outside, go up the turnbuckle, blah, blah, blah. What have I got here? Just solid, good work. I loved the bat double play bit thing. That was great.
It was beautiful.
I didn't care for Miro coming out. I know Nick enjoyed. I think you'd have got a better story out of Orange Cassidy beating MJF and him taking that ring, so MJF has something to fucking take or do or something. And Miro has come out and cost him. We already know they're in a feud. We're already seeing a bunch of things about it. I didn't care for the end, but overall, I think the match was a B. We had a lot of story. We had a lot of shenanigans. We had a lot of good wrestling. Just didn't care for the ending, but I said that about The Witch and the horror film by the people who made Midsummer, and I still think they're good films. So, yeah, a B. Just the ending could have been more exciting for me. Hereditary, yeah. Great film.
Sorry, I'm just laughing at Pop Hereditary now. 1 second. The issue with this is I don't see why OC cares about this ring. That's the main problem of this for me. Why would Orange Cassidy, the most lazy man, care about this ring?
I just thought it'd be
So-
funny if he won it and just had it like on like a piece of string around his neck or in his pocket or something.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I wanted.
I think you have to remember that Orange Cassidy, he does want to win championships. I think we've gone past the lazy man in that respect.
Okay.
It's the is it sardonic? Is that the right word? I might be using the wrong word here. Me speak English, good. It's the laid back. I think he's moved to laid back, and we know that he does compete for stuff, but he's just laid back. He doesn't put effort in, and I think until he does.
Like, it wasn't a bad match. I really enjoyed the dub side of like proper just turned into a lumberjack match at one point. It was the best Miro has looked. I'm not gonna lie, but
Oh yeah, no, it's like the moment was great. I just don't think it was needed.
no, it
Well,
wasn't.
greatly done.
They're just making Miro look like a monster. I still think this would have been better being Sammy versus MJF, and that could have led to our inner circle meeting.
I think that would have been a lot more interesting. That's more my issue is I feel like it was just hot-shotted with OC because OC's over when it would have been a lot better with someone else. Like, we can do with a week without OC on TV as much as I love it.
MJF doesn't need one of your most over baby faces to get over as a heel.
Oh no, not
That's
at all.
the thing. He's fairly safe. I gave it a B/C. It nearly turned into a lumberjack match, and I really liked the way that the faces, that the best friends were all pleading with Orange to
getting back.
that was and I really liked that. Baby faces or faces being faces and cheering for their guy because it wasn't a lumberjack match. That helped me. Yeah, B/C. It was just a low B for me. It was a B, but a low one. So is that a B then? Muir? Yeah, Mr. Muir?
I think it's a C. I just don't know. It just didn't click for me.
Oh no, now I'm conflicted.
That is officially 2 Bs. That is officially 2 Bs.
Yeah, fair. Is it the final rankings?
So it's time for the final ranking.
Well, we've got a D, 2 Cs, 2 Bs, and like 2 As and like 9 Bs. So I guess it's a B then.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
It was a good show. We might have some issues with a couple of moments. Yeah, it was very
so
packed,
much
very
going on. Yeah.
We have ranked most of the segments have got ranks, and it's quite noticeable that there were some good segments and promos because I've ranked them, and I don't normally give a rank to those.
And that's forced me to rank them, so we're getting a lot more story and build, which is nice. Maybe cut out some of the unnecessary matches.
Beginning of season 3.
Yeah, fair cop.
You don't need the big plot drop, though, do you, boys? We could have this stringed out a bit, you know?
I think you've got to have your big... you've got to know who your big bad is.
Strung out.
Don't hassle him, Strange. He's only on 11 hours sleep.
It's a hard life for me. Come on, leave me alone.
So there you go. That's our thoughts on this week's. What did you think of this week's show? Did you enjoy them? Is there anything you'd like to ask us to do? Is there anything you'd like to ask us to book for you? Is there something you'd like us to rant about? Send them to wrestleopinionated@gmail.com, WrestleOP on Facebook, WrestleOP1 on Twitter. There might even be a celebrity that you'd like to see fight in a wrestling match against another celebrity and another celebrity. This is what's known as a really bad segue into a new segment we came up with yesterday because we were really stuck for ideas, which we were going to call Celebrity Deathmatch. The premise of this, any of you remember Celebrity Deathmatch? It was one of the greatest stupid shows on television.
Wicked.
Stone Cold Steve Austin actually did commentate on it. It was not an impersonator doing that voice.
Really? I didn't know
It was actually Stone Cold. Stone Cold actually was on Celebrity Deathmatch.
Chad.
Stone Cold all over, though, ain't it?
We've set a selection of rules for this. So what we have decided is we have got to come up with, between us, a celebrity each. This episode's one is they must have been in a movie. They do not necessarily need to be a movie actor. They must have been in a movie. We pick a celebrity each, and we're going to write a very quick story of how we are going to get them into a match, a 3-way match. Are we going to say it's for a title, or is it just going to be a 3-way match?
I don't know. With what I've picked and my reasons, this could be interesting. I
think you're going to be hard to follow. So, Mr. Muir, do you want to go first? I'll go second, and then Strange can just blow us both out of the water.
Right. So mine's quite simple. Have you seen a film called My Dad's a Heel Wrestler?
No.
You can't have Tanahashi.
All right. Have you seen a film called The Scorpion King?
We stated, oh yeah, that was the other rule. They cannot be a wrestler.
Oh, god damn it, I've been ruined. Okay, fine then. Right, my choice is Vinnie Jones from any Guy Ritchie films. I think he'd be a fantastic wrestling character coming out just being this, violent fuck. Yeah, just being that character. I think that would be a.
That's like my original pick of Eric Cantona.
Oh, that's a good one.
He's a bit old now, though.
No, I'm thinking just from that age. Just.
Yeah, no, I got you. Yeah, classic Vinnie Jones, the brawler. Right, okay.
Okay, so I've gone for the old wrestlers. Now, I know that Strange will have done a bunch of stuff. I have done what I like doing the most, and that is I have done how they're going to appear. On the ring, and what's going to happen is we're going to have lights out because I like lights out, and then on the Titantron or the big screen at the back, I can't think what it's called in AW, we're going to see words scrolling up the screen. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, and it's going to be Mark Hamill. Is my choice.
What age?
Mark
Hamill.
Mark Hamill. As the old veteran, Mark Hamill. And I wanted someone who I know can cut a promo.
Okay. Enough.
And he can be face or heel depending on who you two picked. Because he can either be Joker Mark Hamill or he can be Luke Skywalker Mark Hamill. Best Joker ever. I will fight you. So, Mr. Strange, blow us out the water.
Well, obviously, we've got. Go on, Muir. We're going to say something.
I'm so excited. Yours because I know what it is.
Obviously, we've got a lot of nerdy wrestlers in the old AEW. We've got some of them who love superhero films. We've got some of them who read comics. We've got one of them who plays D&D 5th edition. Disgusting. We've got one of them who likes computers. But what if we had somebody who could beat them all in superhero knowledge and power? What if somebody who could build a PC better than Kip Sabian? What if somebody who didn't play a fucking normie game for casuals like Brandon Cutler, but played a man's game like Warhammer came out?
40k.
What if Henry Cavill?
Oh, shit.
With his finisher, the Galmaraz, named after Sigmar's hammer.
Is he coming out? Is he coming out as the God Emperor of Mankind, or is he coming out as Sigmar? I need to know. Yes.
Conan Emperor Henry Cavill. And he is here to not only flex on nerds, but to flex on promos and flex on you physically. And he's British, lad.
Well, it's two baby faces and a heel, isn't it? Or I suppose mine's a tweener. So,
well, obviously, Mark Hamill is going to be beloved by the nerd people. What you've got here is somebody who is going to be instantly in with,
I think, actually, because of the way our picks have worked out, I don't think it's going to be a three-way dance. I think we need to change the rules. I think it's Vinnie Jones dressing down Mark Hamill after he's made, and Henry Cavill coming in for the save, and Mark Hamill as Henry Cavill's manager.
Yeah, that's the best way you could do this now. Mark Hamill's getting his ass kicked by Vinnie Jones, and then Hamill and Cavill come out to save the day.
Superman saves the Joker.
Yes.
Oh, come on.
Saves the Joker. He flies out. He's there.
Sorry. Superman saves the Joker from the Juggernaut.
Oh no! I'm not having. I said Guy Ritchie, fucking Vinnie Jones.
No, that's fair.
Juggernaut.
That's fair.
You don't talk about X-Men fucking 3 and what they did to Kane Marco.
There isn't an X-Men 3. There is only X-Men 1, X-Men 2, and then there might be a later one that was quite good later.
No. That's where it ends. Henry Cavill, of course, standing quite tall, handsome, and He's got a bit of tweener potential as well.
He's
He can
dime
rip
shaped though.
He is a handsome man. He is beloved for his ability to just do nerdy things.
Is he now quickly? Is he Superman Henry Cavill or is he Witcher Henry Cavill?
Neither. He's Henry Cavill, who did a 20-minute video on him building a PC at home and a guide on him painting his custodes. He's Henry Cavill, the man who is nerdier than every other person out there. I don't want to play your fucking mainstream Wizards of the Coast game. I'm playing Warhammer.
Do you know what? I really so my first choice was actually Vin Diesel, and I really wish I'd picked him now.
Vin Diesel would have been crushed by a Cavill.
It would have been D&D, but it would have been D&D versus Warhammer. It would have been Vinnie Jones picking on the nerds, and then those two coming out as the nerds.
The nerd squad. We're out here. I just want to come up with.
So Vinnie Jones is picking on Mark Hamill in the ring, and then Henry Cavill comes out. What's his entrance then, Strange?
Muscular to couch, just shouted across, and then he comes out dressed as Skull Franz.
No. I think you'll find that Vinnie Jones obviously has been laying a massive smackdown.
Yeah.
And Mark Hamill has been doing very little to get him, but he's managed to get like a niggly hit in on his shoulder or something. That's all he's achieved. And he's lying broken on the floor. Another jobber tries to get in the way as Henry Cavill starts coming out. Henry Cavill might be watching from the side as a friend.
Does he have a massive claw and a massive flaming sword at this moment, by any chance?
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Carry on.
Henry Cavill's Henry Cavill's watching and he's fucking concerned for Mark Hamill, obviously. But who's a small, lovable jobber?
I would say Marco Stunt.
Yeah, you said lovable
years ago, but you know.
But Brandon Cutler, as much of a casual as he is, jumps into the ring, gets in the way of Vinnie Jones, who fucking headbutts him down in one shot. And fucking Henry Cavill can't take it anymore. He just runs.
So there's no good left inside Vinnie Jones.
There's no good left inside Vinnie Jones, and he has to turn on the man he used to respect, which is why he didn't get into the ring. It's not just the tale of Horus Sanguinius and the Emperor.
Okay. Sorry.
I suppose this would actually be the beginning of our feud.
Yes.
We fucking lay him down with, I can't call it the Galmaraz. It's gonna have to be something like
Exterminatus.
Well,
Exterminatus, the random genocide.
I'm sorry, you've got to bring in as many of his things as you can. So his finisher has got to be a Superman punch.
No, I'm going with the Warhammer theme.
No, but it can be called that, but the actual move has to be a Superman punch.
Okay, it could be a Superman punch called the Galmaraz. There we go.
Yeah.
Fucking levels out Vinny and obviously goes out. This means he's got a bit of dynamic behind the scenes. He can mock Brandon a little bit because he's a good guy, but he's gonna have that edge of being a little bit of a twatty Hollywood actor to a degree. Because he's lovable to the people, but he can build a better PC than Kip. He does play a real 8-kept war game.
Don't forget, you've also got his Witcher thing. So his promo. Oh, yeah. The reason that you've got Mark Hamill is because his promo is just fuck.
Yeah. He can challenge Kip to a game of Total War. That means.
Is he going to play himself, Eltharion, in it?
Stop. Well, when they made him Elf Batman.
Yes, mate.
But yeah, I think this could build up to a selection of... we can get a bit going here, because slowly Cavill will have to win over the nerdy people who he shares interest with. But obviously, he ticks every elitist box, basically, on nerdship. For as lovely as he is, he builds his own PCs, he plays Warhammer, he plays Total War. And, I have not seen anything negative about the Cavill. He seems lovely. But all of the things he likes are those very specific grognard corner games. You know what I mean?
Grognards, yeah.
So we
also, Mark Hamill will have to turn his Malcolm or the Sigilite after a while. That's how I feel his role would be. His second-hand man, the guy in the dark that's helping him.
Yeah, he becomes like the advisor, the clever one. Mark Hamill's been through enough. Mark Hamill knows what's going on. Mark Hamill can distract people with voices. So Vinnie Jones at the same point is obviously going to need to get his own team of Guy Ritchie-style characters.
Eddie,
yeah. He's going to be recruiting the thugs. He's got to give the beat down to this guy, and obviously Cavill's going to be losing a few of these beats.
Right. Hang on. So this is where I want to cut in here. So this is where we're going to do one of my favourite promos of all time. We're going to steal mercilessly, and it's the Mick Foley promo when he turns into Cactus Jack, and we're going to have Mark Hamill using the Luke Skywalker voice, and then he's going to go, but I could bring somebody else, and then he's going to switch, and he's like, I think you know who he is, and that's when he turns into the Joker voice, and all the heels in the ring just sell it like like God has just, like, Ibushi has just walked out.
Should have gone with the Riddler voice. He's a better character. Sorry.
Best Joker ever.
Yeah, no, I'll give you that. Except for maybe Cocaine Jack Nicholson. For those wonderful hour and a half. So yeah, we get the scare off, and so Henry's getting this beat down, and maybe he acknowledges that nerds can work together. Maybe he should let some of these comic fans in with him. Maybe he should play on a console with
No, he needs to guard that gate.
No, because I'm with Strange here, because now you've got the point where they start, and the nerds they're going to start bringing out. I wouldn't fuck about. I wouldn't bring out people like Brandon as much as I like Brandon. I'd be bringing out Kenny, Miro. So you play on that sort of fear. So the
Brandon's
nerds
allowed in, but only when he plays a game that isn't D&D. He'll be like, "Oh, do you want to play my 5th edition game?" And he'll be like, "Oh no, mate, we're playing 3.75, or we're busting out a bit of old World of Darkness." He'll be like, "World of Darkness," and Brandon will be like, "5th edition." He's like, "No, classic." Whoa!
Because I think that the nerds you bring out are
just
all the
bad service for you guys.
You bring out the Henry Cavill brings out all the real hard hitters. So you have people like Kenny, the best bout machine, Miro, who was just gonna pick you up and bite your head off and chew you. So you've got
He's recruiting bullies like Eddie and MJF.
Yeah. But he doesn't just recruit like Brandon. Oh, you can recruit Brandon as your first one, but then you start bringing out people like Miro and Kenny, the ones that are like, oh, hang on a minute, I don't like this.
Brent plays D&D. Yeah, so we get the Bullies team. The Bullies team versus the Nerd Face team, and obviously the Bullies win just like in real life. No, the Faces.
Finally, a true story.
Finally, a true story. Bullies beat up nerds and leave happily.
So there you have it. That's our celebrity death match. What did you think of it? If you like the idea and you want us to do some more of those, drop us a line, let us know. Now we're going to move on.
Oh my God, it's the Drop Pod Assault! Sorry.
Got to get on to the next. Now we're going to move on to our discussion. Do you want to lead this, Mr. Muir, this week, Mr. Muir, or do you want me to lead into this?
You go ahead, because you're the one that came up with this creation. Sounds good.
As Mr. Muir's been saying, so Mr. Muir is the one who comes up with our discussions every week, and every week it is getting harder and harder to come up with something new for us to discuss.
That isn't just, oh, do you like this? Or something boring that isn't going to actually be interesting.
So we have decided for the next few weeks, while we let the creative juices reset and give chance for some things to happen in wrestling, we are going to do some different reviews. We are going to review some of our favourite matches. We're going to give them a full review. So all three of us have got to watch them. I believe we're just going to pick one each to start off with, and we'll see how it goes from there. So we thought, rather than a discussion, we're just going to quickly run through some of our favourite matches, try not to give too much away about them. Some of these will be matches that you've heard us mention before.
I think the first show is obvious which one it should be. Let's be honest. There's one that's been mentioned every week by Strange that he wants to talk about.
So, Mr. Strange, your favourite matches, as we're all on the spot here because we've got to try and do this from memory as well. We haven't prepped this. This was literally before I pressed record on the podcast. We came up with this idea.
I've got a few down. I've managed to write 5 down whilst we've been going, and I've tried to do them from a variety of promotions, shall we say. I have succeeded in 4 different promotions.
What?
I'm going to... So, do you want me just to run through all of mine at once, or do you want to round robin this? Okay, I'll just go.
I think you can just go with all yours at once. I'm going to actually be noting these down separately.
All right, okay. Well, obviously, my favourite one of recent times, the one that has ruined all suspense for me in wrestling.
Taking one off me already.
is Naito versus Okada the second time.
I think it was Jay Wyatt that was just the better one of those nights. That's the one where he had the fall, as far as I remember.
No, Okada, it was the final where he had the fall at the last minute, but you can go for the Jay Watt one. Naito versus Okada, you do need to understand the story a bit to really get it, but we'll come to that. It's the conclusion of many years of story. Then we've obviously got another starlet I talk about quite a lot, and one Nick talks about a little bit. The Prime Minister of Wrestling versus Stardom's very own indestructible gangly goblin. Kagetsu versus Mayu. I'll have to pick the specific match, but their entire run of campaigns is just the best women's wrestling you'll ever see. It's phenomenal. Once again from Wrestle Kingdom 13 or 12, Sonada versus Zack Sabre Jr. It's the best technical wrestling you'll see.
That match, no, that was in the tournament. That was in the G1 last year.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. The sequences of just reversal, counter reversal, catch, can wrestling was beautiful.
It's hyper buff, handsome Japanese man versus vegan noodle. Zack Sabre Jr.
Beautiful.
These are all going to be really interesting for me to review because I am going to be reviewing these blind.
Yep. For the indie shitter side of me, because I don't think I'd be me if I didn't get something in there. It's got to be Chucky T versus Swoggle. I've talked about this match several times, and I fucking love it. It's got the best opening to a match I've ever seen.
Don't spoil any of it for Morg, please.
I won't. And obviously, that's like a filler comedy one. It's wonderful, but on the indie scale, nothing will beat it.
Right. They've had their starters. They've eaten their veg. What's their meat?
What's their main straight?
It's the one we're doing next week.
Yeah, come on.
I'm trying not to laugh. It's Pentagon Dark versus the Black Lotus.
This is going to be our first one because Stranger's talked about it nearly every show, and we should actually explain why it's a fantastic match.
I'm so looking forward. That's the only one that I've never seen. So that's 1, 2, 3. That's 5 from Mr. Strange. Shit, I've got to try. So, Mr. Muir, are you prepped?
I don't know if I can get 5 in, but I'm trying to go for something that's different. A match I really liked from a Cinderella card this year was Azumi versus Starlight Kid versus Rio for the high-speed belt, which I showed to Strange, which is a 20-minute ridiculous match. If you like ridiculous flippy moves, this is probably the most flippy match you'll see all year. It's ludicrous.
Sorry to cut across. Azumi, Starlight Kid,
and AZM. It's actually spelt as Starlight Kid and Rio.
Is that pronounced Azumi?
Yes.
I've been guessing for years.
Yes, mate. That's how it's pronounced. I only found out because I heard it on another podcast.
I will be honest. These are all being written down phonetically. A lot of these names.
Yep.
Yeah, fair cop.
I think another match we should review for old-timey stuff would be Macho Man versus Steamboat 3 at WrestleMania 3.
Yeah!
I think that is a match that basically showed where wrestling was going to go in the next 10 to 20 years after it.
Ricky the Steamboat was my granddad's favourite wrestler.
Yeah, as he should be. Your granddad had good taste. Who else? What else? I really liked the Tam versus Julia feud this year, but I don't think that should go in. What else? God.
I've just had to put a line through that one.
Go on. You do a few and I'll keep thinking.
Okay, so I'm just not going to mess around. I'm going to go straight in with my So the greatest match of all time, in my opinion, the greatest WrestleMania match of all time, in my opinion. So I'm going to go with Undertaker Shawn Michaels 2.
26.
I think so.
Yeah.
Taker Michaels. Now the reason is because of the payoff story.
Yeah.
Even though, if I'm being really honest, the greatest match of all time is Taker versus Michaels 1. But this is the second half of that story.
So he retires him, yeah.
Yeah. Then the three-way dance from Impact, from TNA Impact.
Ooh!
Yeah. The three-way dance of AJ Styles versus Christopher Daniels versus Samoa. Is it Samoa Joe? Yeah. Versus Samoa Joe.
That is, I can just write all of their initials and I know who I'm talking about.
Yeah. Versus Samoa Joe. From Lucha Underground, so this one's a struggle because I can never remember. Was it the Weapons of Mass Destruction match, or was it
Mass Destruction? Dante Fox versus,
or is it the Horrors of War? It's
no, Weapons of Mass Destruction is with Marty the Moth. Horrors of War.
Horrors of War.
It's Horrors of War. Yeah. It's Dante Fox versus Killshot.
Killshot. That's it. Yeah.
Horrors of War, my favourite hardcore match, or one of my favourite hardcore matches.
It was fucking horrendous, that match.
Then my next pick is
going to get Phil in at some point.
Where's Phil? We haven't heard Phil yet.
My next. I'm really torn on which NXT match to do.
Fair enough. Carry on then. Go get your Phil match in.
The obvious one. Yeah, the obvious one is CM Punk versus John Cena at Money in the Bank.
Okay, cool.
That one is about the story as much as anything else.
Yeah.
I have written down Cena versus Phil just because I hope it makes you a little bit angry at home.
Doesn't bother me. John Cena at the Money in the Bank. That's 4. And my number 5. The match wasn't good, but the payoff. I'm going to have to go with Sasha Banks versus Bayley, and it'll be the one where Bayley won the title. I will check which one it is. It'll be the one where it's the culmination of the story.
Yeah, fair.
And I wanted to get a women's match in a Western women's match in one of my favourites.
Well, I just stick with Japanese women. They can wrestle better.
That's my 5. We will see after I've watched Stardom.
I don't think we need 5 each at all.
These are my top 5 matches. We will pick some of them to watch.
Chucky T versus Zack Sabre Noodle.
That one's great.
Team WG title challenge.
We really should review. We really should review. Is it Okada versus the Blow Up Doll?
Both Ibushi and Kenny have fought the Blow Up
Doll. Oh, it's Ibushi.
Yeah.
We probably should review that.
We should review a Golden Lovers match. We really should.
Pick one. Pick your favourite.
I'll have to figure out the names of them.
I was tempted to have I think it's the most recent one when they hugged at the end, when they went back to being the Golden Lovers.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that, and the Bucks came out, and it was all, and I really enjoyed that match.
I'm writing down Chucky T versus Jack Sabre Jr. PWG.
Be one of my choices. I'll happily take that as one of my choices.
So Chucky,
that's the coolest thing I've ever seen done by a heel in a title match.
Yeah.
By Jack S. Jr.
I think it's a PWG title match.
It's a PWG title match. I remember watching it. Which Lucha Underground match? I think maybe Phoenix versus Mil Muertes Grave Consequences was one of my favourites.
Oh, yeah.
From the coffin matches. The coffin matches. Is it Grave Consequences?
Yeah, Grave Consequences.
Yeah, that one.
Listeners, if you have never seen Mil Muertes,
mate,
just Google him. There is no power slam I have seen that is as fast and as snappy as his, especially from a man of his mass. He's
beautiful.
Fucking hench. Ricky Banderas, I want to say?
Yes, Ricky Banderas.
Yeah. So,
don't know fuck all about WWE or modern wrestling, but you want to talk about random Mexican wrestlers and indie shit?
You are short on one. If you can come up with one more match that you love, Muir, we've actually managed to list 5 each off the top of our heads.
Trying to think now. What? I
You
love
can pick another wee woman's match. We'll allow it.
No. I'm gonna pick Pac versus Kenny Omega Iron Man match. 30 minutes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for an AEW match because I fucking love that match.
They're disgusting.
The show we review. How dare you like one from it?
And no, that was before we started.
I was tempted to throw. There was a part of me that wanted to throw the Boneyard match in. But
I
was
would have thrown in the Boneyard match.
We did.
If you threw in the Boneyard match.
But you know, we had a chance.
We did a show.
I think Pac and Kenny was pre us starting the show as well, so we've never reviewed it.
Yeah, it was.
So yeah, that makes sense. So there you have it. So that's just us reeling off a bunch of our favourite matches at you, and so you've just heard a lot of names. Give you an idea of some stuff that's coming up. Also,
look them up; they're worth it.
Get yourselves a head start. You can go and look a couple of those up and be ready to for when we review them. That's our show for the week. We are Wrestleopinionated on YouTube, Anchor.fm and Spotify. I want to say thank you to Anchor.fm for hosting the podcast. Over to you, Mr. Muir.
Thank you very much for listening to our ramblings today. It's been great fun. If you want to send in anything to us, please send it into wrestleopinionated@gmail.com, WrestleOP on Facebook, and WrestleOP1 on Twitter. Over to you, Strange.
Please like, share, subscribe, click the bell button. Remember, we are on YouTube and there's an algorithm. Yeah, cheers for listening. Beep boop, fuck you. Thank you for listening to the podcast. We really appreciate it. Do like, share, subscribe, do all the normal stuff, just in a less soulless corporate way. Click whatever the upvote button is on Spotify and such like. Pass it on to your friends who like wrestling. Get your friends to watch wrestling. Make them listen to us.
And watch the back listen.
And watch all the matches we just suggested, especially mine. Or Morg.
And in honour, I think, of Kenny this week, to sign off, I think it's going to be good night and goodbye, kiss, good night, bang.